guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the Rip Berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk? And I'll add spinach and ginger. And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster Juice, freshly made your way.
Hello and welcome to the Saville Grand Prix here at the Saville Center in Edmonton, Alberta. We are off to the quarterfinals this morning, the Sunday morning here at Edmonton. Kate Cameron and Kaitlyn Laws, these two Manitoba teams, are taking on each other for a chance in the semis as the early season spiel campaign continues. Marty Thompson and Sean Joyce with you on the broadcast here. And Sean, these are two young, exciting teams, veteran teams too, in their own right. How have you sort of made out their early season successes here as they are both seeking a chance here for an early Spiel Championship in September?
Yeah, well, you know, it is early in the season. I'm not sure. This is my first look, actually, at the camera team, so I'm not sure how much they've had a chance to play yet this year. Kaitlyn Laws was here at an event last weekend, so she's been playing on the Saville Center ice for a couple of weeks, made the playoffs last week as well. And she had an unusual situation yesterday, just in that she played her last game. They were playing Yunji Kim. Both teams went in at 3-0. I was on the broadcast on that one, and we went in thinking, well, both teams are going to be through to the playoffs. It's just a question of who's going to end up 4-0. By the time she got off the ice and we started looking at the scenarios, there was no guarantee that 3-1 was going to make the playoffs. Now, just the way things fell in the last round robin game, we ended up with 4 teams at 4-0, 4 teams at 3-1, and there's our playoff 8. But she gets off the ice the last game of the round robin. She's done at 3-1, and she had to watch the draw last night to find out if she was going to be playing this morning.
Well, one of the 4-0 teams is Team Kate Cameron, have really cruised through the round robin here. Really one close game. I think it was against Richards. They took a 6-4 win, needed a 3 spot in the 8th end to get the result, but they have been really cruising here so far at the Saville Center. They were in action last weekend at the Saville Shootout, Sean, but they didn't have a good run. Right. I think they went 1-3. And in a group that, frankly, you know, you would expect them to do quite well in, so they just had some difficulties there, but they've certainly picked it up here this second weekend.
Yeah, you are right. I do remember that now. I just didn't happen to be on the call on any of their games last week.
So Selena Negevin in the house here for Team Kaitlyn Laws, as we saw their 4th rock shooter in Laws there. It was just missing on the first guard from Kristen Gordon. She's back sweeping, as we've mentioned several times in the broadcast, but it bears repeating if you're just watching this for the first time, that the team has made this switch with Selena Negevin being in the house for the first set of rocks in each end, sort of calling the game, because Kaitlyn Laws was determined to be the better sweeper after doing some testing. And you can see, just like that, a good example between her and Jocelyn Peterman, managing to drag that red rock just ever so buried over that Yellowstone. So Team Kate Cameron with the hammer, as they had the better record through the round robin.
Yeah, no draws to the button in any of the games this morning, with 4 teams at 4-0, 4 teams at 3-1. Those 4-0 teams will have last rock in the first end by virtue of that. Could get interesting this afternoon, though.
Yeah, it certainly will. Dan Harris on the brush for this team, getting right behind the rock and managing to tap that redstone out. So Kate Cameron does have the hammer. They do have a center guard and now something on the wings, and Team Kaitlyn Laws with Jocelyn Peterman throwing second, electing to go after that Yellowstone. Jocelyn Peterman, 31 years old. Scotty's champion way back in 2016 with Chelsea Carey. Draw is really fighting the curl on this one.
Yeah. Would have liked to have rolled back underneath the center, but important just to stick around. I'm looking at the overhead trying to think, and I think that yellow one's splittable. So if Kate Cameron ever was to get a rollout from the opposition here, she might try to split that, get that cheat deuce, what we call it, in the first end.
And this just comes down to Kate Cameron electing to hit and roll, looks like out to the wings, right?
Yeah, she doesn't want any part of playing in the middle. She'd take a blank in the first end if she could get it, but she'll take a risk-free deuce if she can get it too. This is not what they wanted. I mean, they're sweeping for the roll because once they're going that way, you may as well try to get a piece under, but this makes the roll under cover a little easier. It's a short roll now.
Looked like a little audible there just based off of what they got out of the hand.
Yeah, it's sometimes you got to make that plan B decision. If you're rolling that way anyway, they would have liked to get tucked a piece because it would have made it a lot tougher for Jocelyn Peterman to roll under the guard.
Jason Gordon keeping a broom down here. They will get the roll. And again, ever so buried underneath that yellow stone. Now decision time as we come up to the final of the second stones here with Taylor McDonald. Looks like they're going to have to attack this red stone.
Yeah, they discussed the run, and you know, you wouldn't be wrong to play it. These teams are so good at that shot. And she could get the shooter slightly off the center line, so that if anything went wrong later, she'd still have the middle open, but she could see enough of it to play at it directly.
McDonald throwing second for this team. She actually curls out of the Saville Center, lives in Edmonton. Dan Harris trying to bring this rock back after Mackenzie Elias put a broom down, and that is way out there. It will sail well past that red stone, and suddenly a change of fortune here for Team Laws.
And now they could start thinking about possibly stealing. I think you have to guard to do that.
Sean, you've seen more games on this ice here, especially over the last couple weekends, but it really has been a theme, at least from what I can tell, just that hit weight just getting lost out there, just sailing a little bit on teams, not coming back. There's not as much a bite as teams expect.
Yeah, and I mean, it's early season perhaps, and they may be just forgetting a little bit about how they're relearning how the rocks run. It's one of these things with the conditioned stones. Everybody talks about the curl in the ice, and I mean, as commentators, we're guilty of it too. It's not the ice that curls, it's the rocks. And with these conditioned stones where there's such late break, the reason it breaks late is because the stone has to slow down before it starts to grab and curl. Well, as soon as you pick your weight up, it never slows down to the point where it grabs and curls. So you see these draws curling 4.5, 5 feet, and you just figure, well, every hit's going to curl hard too. But that hit never slows down, so they just don't get the same bite on those. And if you give it a little bit too much of a pop, and all of these teams have taught themselves to throw a little bit of a positive handle so that it doesn't take off on them. Even with that one, you can see that little backwards motion just as it comes out of her hand. And if you overpronounce that, it's just never coming back.
Yeah, it's certainly a nice thing to have in your chest, so to speak, but you do need to be careful of how you use that mini set and make sure it's not mini.
Yeah, that's just it. But you have to, I mean, you have to have it with these aggressive stones, because if you let it go soft, this is what we call it, soft out of your hand, and it starts curling right away, there isn't a brusher in the world that can hold that with these rocks.
So Selena Negevin throwing vice stones here for this Laws team. So they did put that guard up and covering the red stone there in the forefoot, and it was crossing center. Looks like they're going to do the exact same thing and force team Kate Cameron to try to clutch the double peel.
Yeah, that's all you can do here. Double peel's never, because they're trying to make it in a certain way, they're trying to make it in a way where they can bring that yellow back into the rings. It's never easy. The trick here to the guard is you can't over curl it. If you got to keep a little piece on top of that yellow stone and then guard the red. If you don't guard the yellow at all, Kate Cameron might simply run it back. Oh, she might have left her enough of the yellow to go after it.
Curse the commentator.
Well, she can't quite see all of the yellow.
I think that guard is a little bit closer to that yellow stone than Selena Negavin's first as well. So maybe it is a little bit more worthwhile to try this, despite the fact you could probably run that back.
Yeah, well, the other part of it too is if you tried the straight run back and you hit it thin and just picked the yellow by, that red stone in the ring is pretty well guarded. This is the more dangerous guard.
And Brianne Harris so close again, just to ticking that yellow stone down and into the ring. So a simple play call here from Team Laws, and Kaitlyn Laws throwing 4 stones. Put the guard back up. Team Laws certainly off to a strong start. You mentioned there last night they had to stick around to watch to see if they made the playoffs. They were 3-0 as of yesterday morning. 10-2 win over to Shafard, a 9-2 win over Nancy Martin in 4 ends, then 7-2 over Gray Withers. But they did fall to Unji Gim 5-2 yesterday. That really hung things in the balance, but still a really strong start from this team. Certainly comparable to Team Kate Cameron and how well they've played the opposition here, but that one loss put them in jeopardy. But certainly a team worthwhile to be here in the quarterfinals at the Saville Grand Prix.
Yeah, it was wild watching that last draw last night. There was you went into it with 6 teams that already had 3 wins, and then there were 6 more teams sitting at 2-1 on the ice. So there could have been a logjam at 3-1. Again, they played the afternoon game. They played their last round robin game. You're thinking, well, both of these teams are at 3-0. They'll both be in the playoffs for sure. Well, there was no guarantee of that. Now, and out of those 6 teams at 2-1, 2 of them were playing head-to-head. So one more team was going to 3 wins, but one team was going to fall short. Kate Cameron played one of the other 2-1 teams. She won her game, so that took them out of the log jam. But had it gone the other way, you would have had 2 more teams at 3-1. Rui Wang was playing in that draw as well. She went to 4-0, but she also was playing one of the 2-1 teams. That could have been 2 more teams in a log jam. And then the other ones, it shows that there's all good teams here. Just because there were some teams that weren't alive for the playoffs, we had some teams play spoiler last night. There's some good games.
Tiebreakers and spiels, you could talk about it all day, but it's always going to be tight. It's always going to be tight.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to a few people about it off the air. As a player, these small pool round robins, the nerve-wracking thing about them is there's not enough time to really separate the teams, so you do end up with potential for tiebreakers, and it can seem stressful, at least at times. But from our standpoint, when you're a broadcaster, when you're even an announcer, the drama starts right from the first game. I did one of the games Friday morning, I think first draw, and we talked about the fact that here's a team that they've lost their first game and you can't afford another one. And it sounds like, just something you would say, but here it is. It turned out that, you couldn't afford more than one.
I've always compared it to the World Cup, the biggest sporting event in the entire world. There's usually a group of death, and everyone accepts that as a possibility. So the same thing can happen in curling. It does suck, but at the same time, we got to get all these games in a weekend typically. So some things like that are just going to happen. You just got to win your games and be the best team. So Kate Cameron running this red, hoping to get maybe a chunk of that yellow or the red, and they sail past both.
Yeah, that's not what she wanted. If she was going to miss it, she wanted to miss it on the other side.
Some things like that are just going to happen. You just got to win your games and be the best team.
Now Kaitlyn can bring another rock into the rings.
So Kate Cameron running this red, hoping to get maybe a chunk of that yellow or the red, and they sail. Yeah, lots of pressure to come here for Kaitlyn Laws. Come from Kaitlyn Laws, I should say.
I'm a little surprised she's playing this turn. You play the out turn and Christmas tree at Kate Cameron has to play this draw and bite the button. And I get what she's thinking. I mean, if she puts it right beside the other red, she might not leave her any piece of the button. But if you're a few inches higher, a few inches too deep, you could leave a slash double for the blank.
Certainly some precision needed, but a very aggressive play call early on from Team Laws. They put this stone right dead beside the next red. Could be in a really good position to steal. Sweepers seem to like the weight.
I think they think it's heavy. They're going deep now because they can't leave. They don't want to leave the double. Oh, they didn't want to rub off. Okay, I think the slash is probably there. It was deep, definitely. If that gets by the red, this is. They were actually fortunate to get the little rub. She's got to hit the first one fairly thin to get the second one, but it's there. Half a rock might touch it, but I think you're looking for a quarter here with some weight.
Oh, yeah, I don't think they have a choice. They have to make this double peel, Sean. You're bang on.
Yeah.
Quarter does get it for sure.
So actually a little fortunate for Kaitlyn Laws that she did rub off, because if they get by that red, they would have been overlapped, and then it's a much easier double.
Yeah, there sure is a decent amount of space there, especially looking at that set of rocks. It's not like they're dead frozen or anything like that.
She hits the first one too thick, and it goes by the second one for sure.
So final stone here in the first end. Kate Cameron 4-0 through the round robin. They're in the quarterfinals, but the pressure is already on in this first frame.
She hit that backward motion too. You can see that rock still backing up.
Do they get a quarter? They get an even slimmer part, and that will be a steal of 2 here for Kaitlyn Laws. Well played end from this team out of Winnipeg. We'll be right back with the second end after these messages.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbach coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Welcome back here to the Saville Grand Prix here at the Saville Center in Edmonton, Alberta. Team Laws with a 2-0 lead after that big steal here in the first end. Marty Thompson and Sean Joyce with you on the broadcast. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, not the way you'd normally expect to go about stealing two. They slipped their first one just to a biter, and Kate Cameron was able to remove it on the first stone, but never got the stone off the center line.
And this is a bit of trouble here for Team Kate Cameron, as the first of the lead stones goes all the way back to the edge of the 8-foot. Team Laws with a chance to come around their own guard here. Well, the winner of this game will take on the winner of the quarterfinal between Eunji Kim and Corinne Brown, Korea and British Columbia, respectively. Eunji Kim is up 2-0 after taking a deuce in the first end with the hammer. The other semifinals in action, Selena Sturmey is taking on Eubene Park. That's a blank in the first end, and Rory Wang is playing Taylor Reese-Hansen. Chinese side, and Rory Wang with a 2-0 lead again after a deuce in the first end. Watch all these games on this very YouTube channel. Kaitlyn Laws, Jocelyn Peterman trying to keep this rock on its trajectory, and it will just come behind that red stone quite neatly.
Yeah, second shot, but that's still a good shot. You wanted to be in front of the tee line and buried. It'll be a rock that Kate Cameron has to deal with at some point in time, and she can't yet. 5 rock free guard zone in effect here. This is in all events nowadays. The no tick zone in effect as well, but that guard looks like it's just a little bit off the center line. This is one where, you know, before the no tick zone was around, you would see teams play a shot like this where you might tight ice it, and that seems to have gone away. But this one's just off the center line. You could tight ice this a little bit, and if you don't happen to get by, you chip it off the center line. That's not a bad call. And if you get by it really tight, you might chip that one out from behind the guard. You certainly don't want to hang this wide.
Mackenzie Elias is second here, throwing lead stones for Team Cameron.
Struggling with her draw weight early. Deep on the first one.
3 guard, yeah.
That leaves the center guard on this one, although it's tight to the rings and a good angle to that red in the 12-foot if she gets a chance to use it. But you have to be a little careful. I mean, this is how they got in trouble last end. They got a tight guard, and it was their own stone, and it was tight to the rings, and you think, well, we might get a chance to use that. That rock stayed there for the whole end. They never got rid of that center guard, and it was the one that ended up causing them all the grief. So, you know, just because it's your own color, it's still a center guard that you don't want.
Jocelyn Peterman with the come around. This will also come up short, but and really awkward stagger on that red. That could come into play later for sure.
It could. It actually already kind of makes it awkward for Kate Cameron to try to play the yellow angle in, because it's hard to stuff it. Like if you're playing that yellow in, you'd like to stuff it on one of the reds and stay right there. Well, from that angle, I don't think you can get directly to the face of either red, but the angle it would be coming in on. You wouldn't play it here. You're going to come around here for sure.
Taylor McDonald throwing second stones here for Team Cameron, handing it off to their sweepers, and most notably Brian Harris on the inside here, really trying to work this rock. See that guard coming into play already. How much bite does it have? How much curl does it have? Just a bit too much, yeah, as it wrecks off that guard. Certainly a series of errors in this end is already shaping up to make a bunch of interesting shapes here around the rings. Team Cameron does have hammer.
Yeah, just sitting one at the back. I think second definitely belongs to Laws. I think third belongs to Laws as well. So what they're hitting is fourth stone, but it's one of those situations where you don't have last rock. You can't just ignore every opposition stone in the rings. She can't get shot off this. I mean, she can hit and roll in a little bit, but it's just, you can't really afford to ignore that yellow stone. Might get the double.
Ooh, that works.
Not what she called.
That'll work, yeah. Just quite a bit wider from Jocelyn Peterman, but
it
looks like that was a nice audible because they carved it over just enough. Excellent. Well, still a good shape here for the team throwing red stones in the house. And that's going to force Team Cape Cameron to start removing stones here.
Yeah, it looks like she's trying the triple on the reds.
Goes thin, and they will just skirt past and out. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I could, well, it's as much as anything else. It's to separate those rocks, because this doesn't look like a steal situation. I mean, it could still yet. But if you don't leave her the double, if you can separate those rocks so she can't ever clear everything at once, you're certainly in good shape to get a force here. So that's what they're thinking here. Play the tap right on the nose of the top stone, so the one will come in behind the guard. It might pop out to the open. The top stone should pop into the side of the house. Your shooter stays right there. You sit 3 and they're all spread out. You should have at least a force.
So it looked like Selena Negevin had indicated a back 8 weight to try to shove these red stones back. Quick check to see if that is a biter. It doesn't look like it is off of that overhead camera.
It'll be interesting to see where the second red, the one biting the 8-foot, where it ends up, because it does look like they're angled where if you tap at any distance at all, it's going to pop out in the open, but they're close together, so it's going to come more straight back than it looks like. It could end up dead buried in the yellow, even biting the 4-foot.
That'd be quite the outcome. Okay, Selena Negevin. This team certainly does not shy away from aggressive play calling. This comes just to the nose, and that is just about perfect. They do drag that question stone there, that important stone, Sean, right underneath that yellow. Makes the play calling a little bit harder here for Cape Cameron. Suddenly they need to ratchet up the difficulty a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a triple on the reds, but you'd have to hit third onto second and hope it catches the top of the other one. If it doesn't, you're leaving shot rock buried, just biting the 4-foot. So they're going to play the straight back run back. The upside of this is they're so dead lined up, you could absolutely stuff this run back and be buried. This is going to have to curl, though.
It's stuck out there now. They will send them right through the gap. They'll tick a little red on the way out, and they might have just nudged that other red stone into the rings as well, mind you, just off to the left of this left pane we see. Red might be sitting 4.
Yeah, certainly 3, and they won't have the same opportunity next time. If they're playing a run back to try to kill that stone, it's going to be a red one. They can open up some scoring area, but they're not going to have a chance to set up a deuce here if this guard's made.
Selena Negevin's second stone here, throwing third for this team. Really nice placed rock here in the key at the front of the house. Could do this team some wonders. You're right, John. It looked like it was a force, and suddenly, if you put this in the right spot, you're getting closer to feeling like a steal is on.
Yeah, as much as it's only got a sliver of the 4-foot, it's like if you had to draw, if this was last rock for Cape Cameron, how do you get to the 4-foot? It's just about gone on the outturn side. You don't have a lot of it on the in-turn side.
What do you think is the best angle here for Cape Cameron? I think just removing these red stones, clearing out those potential draw paths is their best bet.
It'd be tempting to go after shot rock, actually. You can see you can see 3/4 of it. You hit and roll to the open side, she's not drawing around. She's going to have to go after your shooter. Like, you could clear out these 3 reds. She's still going to guard that again, and you're still going to have to beat it with the last one. It's... The other thing I was thinking of after the last hit, they have missed a lot of hits so far wide, and they've got that in-out motion, and that's fine. A lot of teams do, but when you're missing everything the same side, you might need to tighten up the broom a little bit. Don't adjust the throw, adjust the broom.
Gran Harris trying to remove some granite. Instead, she'll just kind of smudge them around. So now that red stone, that real problem stone in the 4-foot, is now buried by a red stone.
Yeah, it's still better
Yeah.
because you've opened up a path to get in for a single, but yeah, I think I might have been tempted. You go after the shot rock there, you roll to the edge of the edge of the 8-foot at shot rock. Laws would have had to deal with it, and unless she rolls perfectly buried, you've got a chance to come around and at least get that skips deuce. Right now, she's just gonna have to make sure she's got a chance to score.
So what's the call here? Just trying to put that guard up? Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, you got to guard it. You can't leave her that short double. You still probably get the force if she makes the short double, but you're trying to make it as difficult as you can. That rock biting the top of the 4-foot, still potential steel stone.
They put that there. They put the guard up for Kate Cameron now, getting into skip stones. Like it doesn't curl enough to get all the way underneath, right? If it was triple, maybe it does to the back, but maybe not in a way you'd really want to make it. So it's hard to even really want to get in there on your first. Yikes.
Yeah, like to me, it looks like the best shot to get in, assuming the guard's made. So the best shot to get in for Kate Cameron might be to play this out turn, try to corner freeze the top one, but you're really hoping you're going to have a shot with that because you're kind of taking away part of your draw path for one if you don't. So I don't think you ever play that. That's the shot you might play even a stone earlier. If you were at thirds last, you might think about it.
Really digging in to bring this over.
Yeah, this may not
center
cover.
line is ideal. It's got a long way to go, but a really nice carve. You're seeing just that little swing to get it out. It's just on center, it looks like.
Kate knows there's no chance she's getting a blank here. So her first thought was the draw. It looks really tough. I don't even think this is a case of let's draw here to try to set up 2. It's let's draw to the button, get a piece around. We know Laws will have to remove it, and then I'll have the same shot for 1.
Yeah, what happens if you try to just get to the center line side of that red stone that's first shot rock right now? Try to be shot, but what if you just try to get there?
Well, Kaitlyn will remove it, roll to the corner, and then you'll have to have the same draw for your score. The only shot that I see, I wouldn't think you'd ever play this because, well, you'd have to have a lot of guts.
I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Come off the one on the side 12-foot. You play that double, and you're dead buried, and you got a shot for 2. But that's kind of all or nothing, and I don't think that's a shot you're playing in the second end. If this was the 6th, she might think about it. And again, it's another one of those ones where if it's one shot earlier, you'll do things on the thirds last to set up a deuce that you can't afford to necessarily do on the skips first. Because in this case, she has to make sure she's got a chance to score. If you try that double and don't touch anything, Kaitlyn Laws can take away that side of the 4-foot, and it's really hard to score at all.
So an extended chat with her front end here, Kate Cameron. You're trying to dial in this draw weight a little bit. Might need to make 2 clutch draws here back-to-back to escape.
Even if she just gets second shot here, then that double that we were just talking about and laughing about, it becomes a threat for Kaitlyn Laws because that double then would be for 2.
Sweepers on this. Trying to maintain momentum. Looks like it's running pretty good here into the 4-foot. And that will be just biting the top of the button. Draw weight down for Kate Cameron for sure, but not out of trouble just yet.
No, not at all. That actually didn't overlap the red at all. If Kaitlyn Laws wanted to play it quiet and get right to the face, you couldn't hit it on the nose again and get shot rock. Now, her first indication was to roll to the outside, which is safer. You don't have to flirt with the guard as much to play the roll to the corner, but you leave her the same shot to score 1. if you could ever get right to the face, not roll at all kinds of trouble for Kate Cameron.
So it looks like might be safety first for this Kaitlyn Lawes team. At least it indicated looked like they were going to want to roll off. But you're right. Like maybe it would be risk. It might be worth the risk considering just how high that guard is.
Well, and there is late finish. It's just you got to throw it quiet. Then you'd have to throw like hack weights so that you could count on the late finish. You don't want to. The quieter you throw it, the wider you can come by the guard.
Final stone here for Team Lawes. Up 2 without the hammer here in the second. Just piling the red stones into the rings here in this second end. St. Gordon with a broom down, making sure that it can beat that top guard. Looks like they will. Will they cheat a little bit? Yes, they will. They will come right to the nose, and it looks like it has enough weight to punch it out. That is an excellent shot from Kaitlyn Lawes. Wow, the pressure remains on. Well executed and really well managed from the sweepers here.
Yeah, we'll see where this stone has ended up. I don't know if Kate Cameron can grab enough of the 4-foot to score. I don't think the outturn is there. That stone that's just biting the top of the 12-foot, by the time you got by it, I don't think you could get by the one that was just thrown. So she's got to throw the other side of the house, and there's a good look at it from the hacks. So she can't even, and granted it will bury a bit at the end, but she can't see a rock's width of the 4-foot, and she's got to get just about a full rock into the 4-foot.
I saw this yesterday with Team Lawes against Nancy Martin, although that certainly wasn't an awfully close game. Lots of red stones in. I think they scored a 5 in their first end, but lots of pressure on the opposing team here from Team Lawes. Kate Cameron now with the in-turn draw, having to go to a new path. How to draw weight down on the out-turn side. Needing to get to the 4-foot here to escape some real danger in this quarterfinal here at the Saville Center.
One brush down right away, both down now. They're going to have to drag this for weight as well as line.
Looks like it needs it. Got to get into the green rings, and they will only just. So that does look like a steal of 3 for Team Lawes. Wow, up 5-0 after 2 ends. We'll be right back with the third. Kate Cameron with the hammer. Brianne Harris, the new player on this team, throwing third stones, shifting roles from lead, of course, for Team Anderson.
Yeah, skipping her own rights, though, for a lot of years in Manitoba, so no stranger to play in the back end.
And you'd like to have a veteran player, too, playing third, playing that real fluid position. You know, she is obviously a great sweeper, great communicator, as one for Scotties, lots of experience. So the more she can impact this team and push it forward, the better. Certainly a good role for her.
That boom side, and all the yellows are going to be grouped. But if she's got I don't think you ever want to be dead behind the red, but if you're half behind the red, I don't know if there's any angles to kill two right now.
Second carb there, they get a decent chunk of that red stone.
Yeah, that leaves the chance for Kaitlyn to play. I mean, she might have a double at the back. It's very thick. Or she's got the slash. You could get three of them playing the slash. The problem is you're losing your shooter, and then there's only one red left in play.
Appreciate everybody watching this morning here on Curling Zone. Lots of comments there. I know we dropped out briefly, but we are back. No, someone did not trip over the wire. I think that's, no, there's no tripping over the wire. We live in a wireless age, so we don't have to worry about that type of thing anymore.
No, it's more likely somebody spilling coffee on that control board.
Exactly. Coffee all through the router. Oh man, hard to get that out. So a three-person discussion here around the rings with Jocelyn Peterman joining in the fray. You make a good point. Just the yellow, just the stagger of these stones is super awkward here for Team Laws.
Yeah, like there's a really, really thick double at the back, but more likely what happens when you try that is you don't kill the second one, so Cameron's still going to be sitting two. You could play the slash on the one that was just thrown, try to get the one at the back 8 foot as well, and there's a chance it clips the one at the very back 12, so there's a triple here. But it's hard to play that and hold your shooter. You saw Saleta talk about, well, we could just try to hit and roll here. Well, if you're trying to play the hit and roll there, you're not throwing enough weight to get probably not even the double.
Right.
Because you're hitting half a rock. Like you're losing your shooter all day if you're trying to get rid of more than one yellow. What they're looking for is there some way to hold our red? Because as long as they got two reds in the rings, that one in the back 12 doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it is tough here to do that. And if you ever played the double at the back, that thick double, and made it, and it's not easy, you're leaving a double back, which still brings three into play.
Lots of scoring here in the quarterfinals across the board. Taking a look at the other matchups here, Selena Sturmey and Eubene Park. Park posts a 4 spot in the third end. Selena Sturmey had a 3 in the second, so that's 4-3. Sturmey does have the hammer though. Meantime, Rui Wang of China now up 4-1 over Taylor Reese Hansen. As we mentioned earlier, the other quarterfinal of note, winner of which will take on the winner of this game, Eunji Kim and Corinne Brown. Eunji Kim still up 4-0 there. Corinne Brown with the hammer in the third.
They've settled on this slash, and I do think it's the shot you have to play. Scoreboard says you got to try to get rid of two yellows here. This is probably your best shot at a double. There's a chance at a triple as well. If she drives the first one back on an angle so that it dead stuffs into the second one, there's still a chance that the rock at the back 8 foot and that little biter at the back 12 both go. So you got really two chances at a double here and possibly a triple. You'd have to get really unlucky, I think, to jam and leave three yellows in the rings. And even if you did that, they still have to find a way to get that redstone out by the yellows at the back. That redstone, the first one that jams, is going to be another rock's width over, so you can't nose hit that red to get it out.
Well, not many in the game better at big weight hits than Kaitlyn Laws. Chance to get these angles right. Take back control of this end. It looks close. And it will be the straight double just out of the rings at the back. Job well done, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good shot. I mean, she's not out of trouble yet, but that's a pretty good result. You get 2, you've cut the damage to now where it can't possibly be any more than 3, and there's going to have to be some kind of double available on your next one. You can hold it to 2 if you make that.
You make a good point, because Kate Cameron does have to come around this area no matter what, right?
She's got to hit. She's got to hit it.
Yeah.
You draw around now, and Kaitlyn Laws just brings another one into the house, and those 2 at the back are gone. So she's got to hit this one while she's got a chance, and she can't roll to the open side because then she risks jamming it.
Yeah.
So she's got to leave her 3 stones together on this side of the sheet. There's going to have to be some kind of a double. I mean, if you just hit and rolled out right now, there's a double on the 2 yellows at the back. So there's going to be another chance for a double.
Perfect shot here for Kate Cameron, I guess, would be hitting and rolling all the way out towards the wing, right? As much as you possibly could within the rings.
If you could, just bite the edge of the 12-foot, that's great. But if you roll 2 inches too far, it's not a very good shot.
Well, I think at this point, as you mentioned earlier, use the term scoreboard indicates. I think scoreboard indicates for Kate Cameron being a little bit aggressive on this line call might end up working out in your favor. Down 5-0 in the third end. Well, gifts in this one.
I'm wondering more, but just as close to the nose as you can, so that if Kaitlyn Laws wants to play the double, she has to roll open, and then you're still at least going to have a shot for 2. Cannot cross it, though. Cannot cross it.
They do cross it. Now, they will not go through the hole. They will just. So they do sit 2. They lose that biter at the back.
You know what? It's still, it's too risky to play the double now, because if you happen to miss the yellow, 3's in play again. So she should have a shot for 2 at least. But, that takes 3 off the board.
Kaitlyn Laws looking at that hit and roll off that one that's behind the tee line.
The Cameron team just maybe not all throwing the same today, because we've seen most of them, the hits have been missed on the wide side, but that's the second one that Kate Cameron has over-curled on. And she's the only one on the team that seems to be over-curling on them. So maybe not all releasing quite the same today.
Team Laws with a hefty advantage here through 2 ends in this all Manitoba quarterfinal here in Edmonton. But some shots certainly required from the skipper to get them out of trouble. A double on her first. Now a chance to hit this Yellowstone and roll in behind and be shot stone, I guess. Try to get Kate Cameron to throw something a little bit more difficult on her last and really earn her deuce.
Yeah, even if she gets this dead buried on this ice, there's going to be room to move it back as far as she would need to get 2, but you can certainly make this a much... If you can force your opposition to have to throw a finesse shot rather than just something open, that always brings into the equation the possibility of something going wrong.
Final stone the third from the 2-time Olympic champion in the Olympic year. Kaitlyn Laws, hit and roll, gives it to her sweepers instantly. You see Jocelyn Peterman fighting to keep this straight.
Yeah, they over-curled a hit earlier from Selena. They cannot jam this at the back.
They just missed the red at the back. So a hit and stick for 2, it looks like, for Kate Cameron. Yeah, that one really took off, eh?
Yeah, well, and that's how they kind of got into trouble. Selena Negative and trying to play the hit and roll over and going from the inside out, curled up to the nose on a shot where they were only trying to hit half a rock. So maybe it's curling a little harder to the wing with the finesse weights than they expected, and you just wonder, or at least I wonder, does that play into Kate Cameron's head? Because she's had a couple of hits over curl already.
Yeah, you make a fair point. Inside
the jam
out
doesn't
as well.
hurt her. Yeah, jam doesn't hurt her here, but she has to stick around. Cameron
settles in with chance to get a deuce and crawl back into this game. Lots of work to be done here from the third end onward, but it all starts here. Final stone here from Kate Cameron. Going down pretty quick here from McDonald. Got to bring it over to get a decent chunk, and they will do just that. So Team Cameron on the board here, taking a deuce in the third. Kaitlyn Laws will have the hammer in the fourth end when we return after this.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Mowat, Gushue, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at theGrandSlamOfCurling.com. Let's rock!
Fourth end of action here from this quarterfinal, the Saville Grand Prix here in Edmonton, Alberta. Marty Thompson and Sean Joyce with you on the broadcast this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. Apologies for the technical difficulties we had in the previous end. We appreciate everybody sticking out. This is certainly the most exciting quarterfinal in terms of all Canadian action here at the Saville Centre. Lots of streaming across the board here too, men's and women's this weekend. We really appreciate you sticking it out.
No shortage of offense on the ice this morning as we got to look at the scoreboards and the wide shot as this one was coming down. There's a lot of deuces out there today.
Nothing short of numbers. So we were just sort of talking off air there briefly about, yeah, there we go, 2-2-2. So
I saw
G.
two
Gibb
more
did
over
take
there.
another deuce there. So yeah, they're up 6-0.
I saw another two deuces over there. Yeah, it might be hard to score one today.
Yeah, it might be. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, they're Park. Yeah, with Park at the 4th spot. You're right. There is a lot of numbers.
There's one single. Everything else is multiples.
I was just going to mention, Kaitlyn Laws playing, quite aggressive this weekend, being quite effective in most of their games, high scoring, especially the game with Nancy Martin I called yesterday. But that Eunjin Kim game last night, that was all singles all the way through, right? So one little outlier there.
Yeah, but it wasn't for lack of attempts. I think there was a few ends where there was a few rocks biting the forefoot, and only one, and that happens all the time. You get 5 rocks biting the forefoot, and it ends up somebody scored one.
So we were talking about this off air briefly, Sean, but Team Cameron does elect to go for the double centers, as you were rightly pointing out. They probably do need to steal at some point, being a little aggressive here to try to see if they can generate something.
Yeah, you got to push the envelope a little bit. Now, they were unfortunate. The first one didn't actually touch the center line, so it could be ticked, but it did get nice and tight to the rings, and good job on that second one. I mean, you're not going to get much longer on that high guard than that, because if you did, they'd kick it off because it did get over the hog line. But so they've got maximum separation.
Laws on the carve here, trying to wrap this one around as much as they can. The weight's not quite there to get it fully buried.
And it's not that they really want to be playing around the middle, but they know that's where Kate Cameron's going to go. They got to get that one in the way, force her to have to deal with it later. And while she's trying to deal with that one, this is the 5th rock of the end. They'll be able to start dealing with those center guards after this shot. why it's really critical that this shot is well placed, because you know they can peel a guard on the next one. This has to be in a good enough spot that you can guard it for a while.
And Harris managing this stone. Certainly got some pace to it. Tap red back ever so slightly, but remain high in the house in both red-yellow combinations here at the front.
Just gonna walk up and peel the long one. I thought with that back one not being to the center line, so there's a little bit of it exposed, I thought they might think about picking out the tight guard.
Red Deer's Jocelyn Peterman with the peel on the extra high guard, and she makes it. So certainly this is a good enough shape for Kate Cameron to want to protect Sean, I guess, to sort of keep the status quo here for a few more shots at least.
Yeah, you have to for now. You start making your play in the house too soon, it's just too many chances for Laws to clean things up. So this, it starts to become that cat and mouse game that we like to talk about. You throw the guard for a while, you know that the Laws team is going to peel guards to a point. So at some point in the end, you're going to have to decide, well, when do we make our move in the house? Because if you make it too late, you know, you throw one guard too many and Kaitlyn Laws decides, well, we don't want to get forced to one, so she comes around on the other side and tries to score two. They did leave a chunk of that one tighter to the rings. Now they have got their own stone dead buried. That part's good, even if this tight guard goes away. But you won't have any of the center line guarded.
Another out-turn hit here from Peterman. This time going for the guard that's just a little bit closer to the rings here. It's awfully good for the pick, and they get that out.
It does change things in that Kate Cameron could make a play in the rings now because her own stone is already guarded. The options I'm seeing are the hit and roll that she's playing right now, or you could play the same draw, the freeze, onto the yellow. Leave yellow, yellow, red. I don't like coming around the other side.
Yeah, it's just wide open, eh?
Well, the issue is you try coming around the other side, and how do you ever get rid of this red? You're going to leave two rocks for it to jam on. And this red might be the one that you need to use to get... I mean, she's not playing the double, but you could. If this was right on the nose, you're awfully close to the double on the reds. And the yellow is still buried. She'd like to roll underneath here.
Jan Harris, the 33-year-old recent addition to this team. 4-time Scotties winner. Little hit and flop underneath. They need to get a thinner piece of it. They will. And that's a lovely shot there from Brianne Harris.
Yeah, that's really good.
Super precise. We saw lots of rocks down the center line, so both skips got a decent look at it, but that is just ultra precision and really good sweeping. You see that last-minute carve. Really nice.
Well, and the problem it creates now for Kaitlyn Laws, she can't see either of the yellows. She's going to peel the guard. And now it becomes that, it flips the script to the other side. If we peel one too many guards, she's going to play the little double raise on the yellow. She's going to be sitting three. The top two may be staggered. And we're drawn to the button against a potential steal of three. So she'll guard it for now, expecting that Kaitlyn Laws will continue to peel the guards. But at some point in time, Kate Cameron's thought is we can play yellow onto red, sit three, and really put the pressure on. You don't want to do it too early. You don't want to give her too many chances at a double or triple to get out of it.
Sean, a bit of breaking news here out of the Saville Center. We did get another single, just one single. Taylor Reese Hansen puts up one in the fourth, so they are still down 4-2 against Ruri Wang. And yeah, we can confirm that Eunji Kim are now up 6-0 against Corinne Brown in the other quarterfinal on this side of the bracket. Both sweepers trying to bring this over, and they will cover.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And you could see the wheels turning for Kaitlyn Laws. If we do that one more time, is she going to play that double raise? And she doesn't necessarily have to. She could guard it again, because she can see a piece of that red stone on the outturn side, to just pick it out and sit 2. I don't see what else Kaitlyn can do. Like, when everything's lined up like that, she can't even really come into the house and try to sit 2 that way. She's just going to leave a double if she tries to sit 2.
So Selena Negevin wraps up third stones here for either team. Kate Cameron electing to call a timeout to bring out Derek Samigalski, the coach who was sitting for most of it, and in this end started to stand up as he sees his team with a real chance to attack here.
Yeah, and I would imagine the discussion is, well, we could throw another guard. It's risky to throw another one, although I don't know what Kaitlyn could do other than throw a guard of her own, which she's not likely going to do. You could play, and if you're playing the double tap now, then there also becomes an issue of, well, how hard do we want to throw it? There's more than one way to play it. She could go directly after the red, too. You chip the red and roll to the other side of the 4-foot. Does Laws try the double? Or does she go after shot rock?
And there's really no place for her to hide either if you did
No.
that, right? If she went after shot rock, it's still going to be exposed no matter what.
Yeah, there's not going to be any place to hide.
What's wrong with just putting one more guard up, maybe Kaitlyn Laws rips it, and then you attempt this run?
Well, yeah, the issue is she going to rip it? Because she knows what's going to happen if she rips it. So that's the problem. You play one more guard and she might not take it off.
Looks like they're going after it now.
Yeah, with some weight too with that broom. But you didn't have to try it. There's options, and that's, I'm sure, what they were discussing. You could play this quiet and try to keep the red at the back of the house too.
Yeah, certainly an interesting call with big weight. You know, you don't necessarily need to throw this, right? If you...
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be big weight. She has to hit it at a little off center. Like the way I'm looking at it, she needs to hit it just slightly on the center line side. Just depends on how they want these to splash. You'll leave her a double at the top. You just don't want to leave any kind of a shot at a triple.
First of the skip stones here from Kate Cameron without hammer. Handing it off here to Taylor McDonald, keeping this rock straight. Need to get just the right piece of this yellow stone, and they do just that. All 3 yellows stick around. I'll catch a replay on this. I know the shape is certainly interesting, Sean. We'll get to that in a second, but that was pretty good here from this Manitoba team.
Yeah, just about the best you could do. I mean, maybe overcurled ever so slightly because it left them all staggered in a way so that Kaitlyn's got a pretty makeable double on the shot and second shot, and she can hold her shooter. Critical to hold the shooter here. You roll too far, and she's going to loop around that stone in the 12-foot and could have a chance to steal that way in. Scoreboard says she might play that anyway. Like, you make the double. Kate Cameron could play the hit and roll back towards center, but she's never going to be better than maybe just full 8-foot. If you're going to try to steal, you might have to draw around that stone at the top of the 12.
The in-turn hit here coming from Kaitlyn Laws. Certainly in the driver's seat thus far, but I feel a little bit of a momentum swing in this end. Well played from Kate Cameron, putting her opposing skipper under a bit of pressure. Double is made, and the shooter sticks around, though.
And sticks around for shot, which is important.
So decision time here for the team without last rock. Hit and roll underneath looks pretty good.
Yeah, the quieter you can...
double. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Scoreboard says if Kaitlyn Laws has a chance for a double, she's going to play it anyway because she's not going to risk giving up 2. The quieter you throw this, you can hit it a little bit thinner and roll a little bit deeper. But then you have to manage it really well. It did roll far enough to the edge. I think as she rolls back to center, she's going to be biting for at least anyway.
Final stone here from Kate Cameron, sliding out in that tuck delivery. Playing this hit inside out. Seen a couple of these thus far. Line is certainly imperative on this stone, trying to get it underneath that yellow. Decent roll to try to put some pressure on the other Manitoba team, but it will roll a little too far, just behind. And it looks like Kaitlyn Laws will have a way out if she just wants to hit and stick.
Yeah. She doesn't have to risk the double. She was always going to play some kind of, well, I would expect she was always going to play some kind of a hit. Even if you roll to the edge of the 12-foot, I can't imagine she would have drawn against 2.
So final stone here in the 4th. With the 3-point advantage, looking to make it 4. Kaitlyn Laws simply needs to remove this yellow stone at the back 4, stick around, take a single.
Those singles have been hard to come by today.
Yeah, coveted singles, you're right. Actually, I will add, there has been another single in the Selena Sturmey Moonbeam Park game. So they're coming in, they're trickling in, Sean. Just, you gotta be patient. We started big, we're gonna be bringing them down to singles later on. Final stone here in the 4th. Kristen Gordon on this pretty quickly. Not a ton of weight, but just as the sweepers like it. So it sticks around in the 4-foot, make it 6-2 after 4. We'll be back with the 5th end after this quick commercial break.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. TheRockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
As we take a look at some of the other games in action here in this quarterfinal. As mentioned, winner of this game will take on game between Rinji Gim and Corinne Brown. Gim now up 6-0 in that one. The singles are coming in. Kaitlyn Laws just posted a first of our game, and Selena Sturmey, as mentioned, took one in the 4th. That game is now tied 4-4 against Eugene Park. And in the game you see there just to the near sheet, that's Rory Wang versus Taylor Reese Hansen. Chinese team up 4-2. They're throwing yellow stones, as you see. Reese Hansen has some work to do without Hammer.
Those 2 games already in play in the 5th end. We're in our 4th end break, and the one score over on the other side just showing 6-0 after 3, so maybe still the 4th end there. Singles still hard to come by. More deuces on the board across these 4 sheets today than there have been singles.
And we like to see that on a Sunday morning, don't we? Just a little, just a little bit of the precision can wait. That can be for Sunday afternoon. We can wait on that. As mentioned, lots of other games to watch here on this very network. It's the MJ Campbell Shorty Jenkins Classic in action. Men's and women's Okotoks as well. Lots of curling to watch here as the season certainly is getting into the swing of things here in the middle of September. Our first stone of the end here.
Out of the corner of my eye, I see it looks like Gim and Brown are into their 4th end break, but I haven't seen a score go up for the 4th end yet.
I'll certainly keep you posted on that. Corinne Brown did have the hammer after giving up a couple of steals there. So job well done in the 4th end here from Kate Cameron, Sean, putting up those double centers and getting the force. Now it really comes down to generating some offense now that she does have the last rock advantage.
Yeah, and I wonder if we won't see double corners here.
If you're just joining us, really a late start here for Team Kate Cameron. Gave up a deuce in the first, steal in the third as well, or steal in the second rather, 3 points. They were down 5-0, but they've certainly found their way back into this game. A deuce in the third, they got their steal. Slowly working their way back in, but you're right, Sean, getting that, that curler math, that deuce and take one, deuce and take one. Something's got to give for this team in terms of a big score.
Yeah, there's still the 2-force doesn't work for them. They're still going to have to steal something somewhere or generate 3, which, very possible in the 5-rock. You see a lot of them. You don't even necessarily need a miss. You do have to execute all 8 shots.
Lead stones here for Team Cameron and Mackenzie Elias from East Paul, Manitoba.
If they're playing the second corner, they're playing it on the same side as the first. Looks like they're coming in.
Sails all the way. Can it get a little bit of white paint? It will not. But as you can see from this angle, pretty well buried underneath that corner guard.
And now the Laws team will play the center guard. And again, we talk about this all the time. It's not that they really want the center guard. They need rocks in the middle to force Kate Cameron to have to deal with those at some point in time. While she's dealing with those, they're going to deal with the corner, and they're hoping that when they have to go back to the middle that the Cameron stones are going to be grouped. And this is what the free guard zone does for you. The Laws team doesn't really want rocks in play, but you can't just let the Cameron team throw wherever they want. So you have to put a few rocks in play where you want them, to force her to have to play them later on. And it can become a game of cat and mouse. It's interesting to see who blinks first. There's all the cliches we use all the time, but it gets interesting. This is the part that gets really interesting to me is how do you try to maneuver all these rocks?
Yeah, it's one thing to start and end with that game plan of, all right, let's do 2 centers or 2 corners rather. Let's force play out to the wings, but this is always the part where
at some point you still have to react to what the other team did, right?
You gotta start rubbing your brow, being like, geez, we gotta get rid of these.
Well, you gotta move them. You don't necessarily have to get rid of them. That's the thing. But how do you go about it? And the whole time, it's not just what you can make, it's what you can leave, so you don't want to leave any doubles behind. It's a little simpler for the Laws team in this situation. As long as you can make a yellow go away, you're happy. See, that is not good. You did not want to roll away.
Taylor McDonald just picked that one and now forces Selena Negevin to make a similar play on that corner, and all of a sudden things are quite opened up. You're right, that was not the miss that this team certainly needed.
No, you couldn't hold out. You peel the guard now, and certainly it looks like, for now at least, 3 is out of the equation. I mean, you might be able to hold it for deuce, but Laws knows what the curler math is too. She'll give up 2. She doesn't. 2's not going to hurt her.
Pick that, and will they roll it all the way out? Looks like they will just touch that board there. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in this morning. Lots of other games on this network, but we are the most streamed right now, so congratulations to us. Connor's doing a great job in production. This has been a super fun game to watch for sure. I can see why people want to tune in.
So now you have to protect that stone in the 12-foot at least once, maybe twice. That's just because you don't want to bring too many rocks into the rings too early. It gives the Laws team a chance to set up doubles, and then you're forced to a single or perhaps even a blank. Blank doesn't help Kate Cameron at this point in time either. Like, keeping last rock is no advantage for her.
Just because of...
She's already kind of running out of ends. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, always nice to have the hammer in the even ends, but you are short one end. So you need to get some offense if you're Team Cameron, that's for sure.
Yeah, the curling math really doesn't work if she blanks here. You're down 4 with 3 ends left to play. You'd have to score a deuce and then steal 3 ends in a row. Like, and one of those being the extra.
And they will get the peel, and they will get the roll. A quick update on the Eunji Kim and Corinne Brown game. Corinne Brown posting a 3 spot in the 4th end, so make that 6-3. Also crawling their way back in, the Canadian team, but Koreans do have the hammer in the 5th.
Third's first stone, so she'll guard it one more time. And then I wonder, do you not have to come around the 2 reds?
Yeah. Yeah, you may have to. This team is desperately seeking some offense.
You could make an argument that you maybe could have played it here, but I mean, there are 2 reds, so that's essentially 2 guards. You could wait one more. Did not get that guard where they wanted. She could play the peel on the guard, and there's a chance she gets both yellows.
Laws back into the house here for this team. She throws 4th, now sweeps. Selena Negevin, the one calling the game, so to speak. Bit of adjustment for this team as they seek a bit of success. Certainly not the best quadrennial they would admit to themselves and to others, I'm sure. But this is the year with it all to play for. They stick.
Yeah, that's not a good result.
And now there's also that red guard that's just off center too. Really interesting.
Well, yeah, Kate can play the double now. I'm not sure you can't play the double and roll. You could almost get across the face. I'd be tempted to try to roll under the guard.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to hit the open one. You're still going to have a shot at the back one. And it's possible. I mean, you'd have to throw some weight, but you might be able to make the double and roll behind the guard. I mean, you're going to catch the second one very thin to do that, but it's probably there.
And that looks like it'd be pretty good spacing on those yellow stones as well. Difficult to remove both.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty flat.
Yeah. Although they are closer together, of course. Brianne Harris trying to get across the face, removing both these red stones, getting a decent spot for the shooter. They're awfully flat, those 2 yellows, but red is sitting first shot.
Yeah, I'll be honest. In that situation, I didn't love that weight choice.
Just a little bit down weight, yeah.
Yeah, well, if you're going to play the double, you've got to have enough weight to kill them both. You're still forced right now. Like, you had to get both reds out if you were playing the double.
So Kaitlyn Laws, a quick conversation, it looked like she was just indicating just nose is fine because they can just stick it there and be sitting 2, and the double just with where that red guard ended up, that's not easy either.
Yeah, she's not going to play the double. She's going to play the hit and roll under on the shot stone. And that's another reason why you might want to just hit this on the nose. You could have a short run, or you could play the double off the side one on your next, if the hit and roll is well made.
Kaitlyn Laws makes this shot, puts in the right spot. That Yellowstone out in the 12-foot is almost void for this Kate Cameron team.
Well, it is for now, but I mean, if she rolls buried with her last one, Kaitlyn Laws will probably hit that stone in the 12-foot because she's not going to risk giving up 3. Now, she might be able to play off it to try to get a double, but she's not going to ignore an open stone to play a tough shot in the middle. Well, you got to get by the front one.
Ooh, slid right in there.
Yeah, she didn't need that, though, because that actually works as a second guard. Kate Cameron can just, and you see her already talking about, let's just draw straight in there.
Yeah, right.
Had she nose hit, she'd make a play off the open stone in the 4-foot and try to roll underneath. But if she makes that perfect, there's a double off the stone in the 12-foot. If she could make the come around now with where she'd end up, I'm not sure you're going to have a double off that Yellowstone. So Kaitlyn Laws might just have to, well, she doesn't have to hit it because there's no chance that it comes back onto the scoreboard. But
you make this hit and roll, and then I guess if Kaitlyn Laws ever gave you a proper 0, you might have a chance for 3. So it might be worth it for this Cameron team if you did get something that was, you know, a extraordinary miss, but or
tough
something.
Tough to get the shooter or to get that redstone out of that 12-foot right now. So I think the straight draw, the fact that those reds are overlapped means there's not going to be any way to get this out if you get it buried. Probably not even critical to be shot rock. You got to be second for sure.
In turn delivered here by Kate Cameron. Her first of 2 with the hammer. Donald managing this one. Weight is certainly paramount. The line looks good.
Yeah, they can't really afford to finish it. It's at risk of being too deep. That's pretty good. She's got shot rock. It's dead buried.
That really dug in there through the 8-foot.
Yeah, and as soon as it was buried, I think with Laws sitting second and third, she was probably going to play some kind of a freeze in front of it. But by being in front of the tee line, it's a lot tougher for Laws to get shot rock off this. She's got to be on the corner. And of course, if you bounce off at all, you leave a pretty routine shot for 2.
Simple instructions here for the 4th rock thrower. Just follow down Kate Cameron's rock. Sit in top and even be shot maybe.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for. Certainly she wants to be shot rock here, but you have to be right on the corner of that stone to be shot. You can't get too close to the face. You wouldn't have enough of the 4-foot. And you can't really just guard everything. Like, there's no way to guard the entire draw path. She's also got the open hit on the second shot. So your best chance to cut the rings down is to come right down to the corner freeze. Now, if she locks us right on the corner for second, or for shot, pardon me, I don't know what. Kate Cameron's going to have to try to find a shot for 2, and I'm not sure what she's going to have. There might be something off that outside yellow. Low percentage, but Scoreboard says you might have to play the low percentage because if you get forced to 1, your win percentages get lower still.
Final stone here for Team Laws. They have the lead, but they don't have the hammer. Coming right down to this yellow stone, needing some extra brush strokes to get it right to the face.
Yeah, over-curled on them a little.
So the shot for 2 is there here for Team Cameron. It's like the clean draw right into the button. Awfully close, I think, at just a few inches inside. And it's a different story.
Yeah, if she shot rock, it changes everything. But by being second, even if she's a little farther over and takes away some of the draw path, as long as she's second, there was always going to be a shot for 2 because she could always play the hit and roll off that one at the edge of the 4-foot as well. She did just throw the draw. Granted, she has to go a little bit wider to make sure she's by the red stone this time. Well, I'm not sure I like tightening that ice up from the hacks.
Final stone here from Team Cameron. Draw for 2, another deuce. Slowly working their way back into this game, although this draw does need to be pretty precise. The button is required.
Rushers are staying close. They must like the weight. They're just waiting on the line, but I'm not sure this is slowing down.
Needs to dig in. And it will sail to the back of the 4-foot. From this angle, it does look like red, but we'll see what the teams have to say.
Too far, I think.
Let's get another perspective. It looked like they pointed at yellow.
Well, that might have been wishful thinking. Selena had called it 1 and then walked away, and it's Brianne Harris that finally moved the rocks. So I think it's just the single.
We'll be back with the 6th end after this.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Welcome back to the 6th end of action here between Team Laws and Team Cameron. So it does look like it was the single there in the 5th end. So if you're just joining us, Team Laws really jumped out to a big lead in this game. Forcing 2 and then 3 in the 1st and 2nd end. But Team Laws has relinquished some control of the game for sure. Cameron with a lot of work to be done, Sean, especially considering Laws with the hammer here in the 6th. And then, of course, as we know, having the hammer in the even ends means you will have it in the 8th as well. If all goes according to plan, of course.
Yeah, it depends on whose plan you're following.
yeah, of course.
For Kate Cameron, the plan might now be that Kaitlyn Laws can have the hammer for the next 4 ends. Because she needs to steal 1 point at a time. Even a force at this point in time just means she's going to need to score a 3-ender with her own hammer. So, You see the double centers go up. They've got both of them touching the center line this time. Not quite as much separation as they had 2 ends ago. Helps them out a little bit that the first stone for Gordon slid behind the tee line. She's got a good one here, though. Asking Taylor McDonald to come down and just tap that behind the tee line. Try to keep the shooter right in there behind the guards. This is the 5th stone, so the peels can start after this. This is always, in my opinion anyway, this is always the critical stone in these situations because you know that one of your guards is disappearing on the next one. This rock has to be in a good position.
Sweeper's on it right away here. 2 guards to beat. They will get by them. The weight isn't exactly what they were looking for.
That's not a horrible way to miss, though. It's in the 12-foot, but on this ice, that's essentially a second guard. So when she peels 1 guard, you're still going to have 2. You can actually come right around that stone at the top of the 12-foot, come into the button area and have angle where it would be hard for Laws to remove it.
Jocelyn Peterman hasn't missed many of these so far today. In terms of those out-turn hits, it's been pretty dialed.
Yeah, I think you're throwing long guards now for a while, and it might be Kate's first one before they think about coming around it. Because it's not a bad situation in the house. You come dead around that one that was just thrown at the top 12-foot on the button. That's a potential steel rock. So you don't really need to be too aggressive here. Throw the guards, let them waste a few rocks peeling. You do want to line them up. You don't want to let her peel the tight one.
Nice and high as predicted.
Yeah, I think they didn't line up, though. I think they're going to peel the tighter of the 2 guards. It also left some angle, so they're going to talk about this. Like if you just straight peel the middle one, they might be concerned that it's a double guard on that path to the button. The problem is you peel the tight guard, the tighter of the 2 guards, the middle one of the 3 yellows. And the come around is still there for Kate Cameron to the button, but then that red stone is available to slash onto it. So I think you're peeling the middle one here all day. They're talking about the double peel, which is great if you make it. But this long rock is not hurting you. It's the middle guard that's hurting you. You have to make contact with that yellow biting the center line closer to the rings.
So Selena Negovin eyeing up that stone that is not even in her picture in the right pane.
Yep.
It's just that high. It's so hard to tell from this vantage point that we see in our left pane, of course. Just yeah, that's just a good cut there really quickly to see how high it is. Cranking up the difficulty here for Jocelyn Peterman on the in-turn this time. It's that big set. Maybe a little too big as they're going to try to bring this back. They will just peel it out. $25,000 event purse here at the Saville Grand Prix. 8 teams making the playoffs here, going straight to the quarterfinal after the round robin.
Try to get this guard a little tighter to the center line. Have some overlap with that one tighter to the rings. But they still want it high. This looks like a lot of weight.
Okay, Cameron backs up. Makes some room for this yellow stone as it rolls past the 2-guard area.
No advantage to bringing it deeper. They're just going to bring him. Yeah, that's a hard double peel to miss.
That's one way of putting it for sure. Nice and lined up there for Selena Negaman. We do have a quick score update here. Eunji Kim up 9-3, grabbing a 3 spot in the 5th. So with this quarterfinal and of course that one, looks like we're lined up for a rematch of the draw last night between Laws and Yim. Korean team won that one. First game taking on Corinne Brown.
Anywhere on the outside here makes 2 of them go away. There's a chance it comes back and could actually clip that stone at the top of the 12-foot too.
Hard one to miss here from Selena Negaman. Double peel, lots of weight.
Yeah, the only way you miss this is you overcurl, you hit it on the nose. Now, if you do that, it could get real ugly.
Yeah.
Because it could be yellow onto double the reds.
Broom down there from Peterman. Nice and easy. They rip it, and that yellow will sail all the way to the back of the house and out. So a lot fewer yellow to work with here for Kate Cameron. Really complicates things here in this 6th end for them.
Yeah, she's still always going to have that come around to the button, but with the red being exposed, if you make the draw to the button for shot rock, it's a pretty short slash on the red. So you can't necessarily save that for your out. She's looking at playing a freeze on the reds now.
Do you like that call?
Well, I think you have to do something here. You just play the guard. Laws rips it. As long as there were 2 guards out there, you didn't have to do too much because you always had that draw to the button. But that draw to the button isn't going to get you anything anymore because the slash is too easy. So what else can you create here? And that's the dilemma they're in. Rather than try to get to the inside, I'd be tempted, just because it looks easier to me, to maybe try to move that red back behind the button and get a pocket back there.
The timeout has been called here as we see Derek Samagalski being called upon once again. We also see Marcel Rock as the coach for Team Laws. He's out there speaking to his team as well.
This is kind of one of those situations where if you had an alternate during the timeout, you go flip the breaker and then try to change the scoreboard. That might be your best bet.
You give them a little nod.
Yeah, well, everybody's
what to do.
While everybody's looking at the timeout, you go flip the breaker, change the scoreboard. But they didn't plan right for that either because the lead came down to this end too. You believe one player needs to stay down by the scoreboard when the lights go out.
Not trying to give them any ideas, but Taylor McDonald does curl out of the Saville Center, so surely she would know where the breaker was. Whoever's local, give them the chance to do it. So just try to push these reds back, I guess. Is that kind of what Derek is suggesting here?
Well, yeah, they're talking about the options. Like, it's not looking like you're going to have anything really well buried, so you've got to have something you could freeze to. And that means that stone at the top of the 4-foot needs to end up in the back of the 4-foot somehow or another. I'd be tempted to try to push it on the angle and make a pocket of the reds. Now that means your shooter's going to roll out into the open, and yes, Kaitlyn Laws is going to try to hit and roll back into the center and take away that pocket, but that still has to be made. Like, this is, if you're trying to tap this straight back, it's still going to be shot. It's still going to be partly in front of, like, if you dead stuff that back, just tapping it onto the red, a dead freeze on the face still won't be shot because she's going to have a piece of the center line. The situation just dictates that you don't get to play easy shots here.
Brianne Harris throwing third stones for Kate Cameron's team. The 33-year-old. Really exciting place for her to bring her pedigree to a new team, new environment.
Yeah, this is going to be all over the yellow. Didn't have the weight anyway.
So it just bounces off.
I think you hit the deep one coming to the side of the other one. Both yellows go, and you're still protecting that red at the top of the 4-foot. You can play that double the other way. Like it's routine when you're looking at a double like this. You just always look at hitting the higher rock first, but you hit the higher rock first, you're going to spin up and a little bit out of the way, and it actually might be able to be used as a guard. You're better off trying to cover your own stone here, where you hit the back stone first, come into the side of the other one, kick it out, and leave your shooter in front of the two reds in the 4-foot area. And then I don't know what Kate Cameron has. But the breaker plan starts to look better and better.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to see a player just start sprinting for the boards there. Certainly seems like Team Laws is just a couple shots away here from the semifinal, really putting some pressure on. And they make this, they do, and they get a nice little roll to sit dead frozen right in the top 4.
Bonus to spin back, yeah.
What a shot here from Selena Negevin. This is certainly worth the replay. Perfectly managed throw on the line. Let it push through those 2 yellow stones.
Well, and the problem it creates for Kate Cameron to play any kind of a freeze or a tap, she needs 3 shots to get those yellows out of the top of the 4-foot, and she's only got 2 left, so that doesn't work. You play the freeze to the back one. Any kind of run on those top 2 is picking out the yellow.
Semifinals coming up here this afternoon in Edmonton. 12:45 p.m. local time is when they're slated. The final coming, I believe, at about 5 o'clock local. So lots of curling on this championship Sunday, both in Edmonton and across the Curling Zone network, as mentioned. We still have the top running stream, I will note. We also have Brad Jacobs and Reed Carruthers on this very network. Mike McHugh and John Schuster as well. That's at the ATP Okotoks Classic.
You know, as much as you hate to throw a hit in this situation, the more I look at this, the more I think she has to. And only because, why I say that is because it's the only way she can leave something that she can freeze too solidly on the last one. Like if you hit this slightly off center, this middle one's going to jam on the back. But then you leave something staggered at the front, Kaitlyn Laws hits it, and then you've got the one just behind the tee line that you could freeze to. Yeah. Right now, you can't freeze to the nose of anything.
So is the plan that they're planning to draw to that one at to basically put it right on the pin?
Yeah,
but then they could just run the red and just get rid of it, can't they not? Like run
the red. But I think what they're hoping is that when she runs the red to get rid of it, that she maybe leaves, it'll take one red out, and then hopefully she leaves a stagger at the top of the 8-foot that she can come around.
Sure.
Which, I mean, desperate times, right? You don't have much here, so that's one option. I don't mind the hit. Like, if you hit it just off the nose, leave the top 2 staggered. I mean, I suppose there's a chance Kaitlyn Laws doesn't even hit it, but
certainly some precision required here from the skipper. This looks like this is running from this perspective, but we've seen them dig in a little bit. There it is.
Yeah, can't bounce off though.
Didn't dig in the way they expected, so a small bounce and it is exposed. Now they can come right down to it. They can remove it, or I think they can come right down to the nose if they want to as well.
Yeah, they don't want to. If you're on the nose, she's following it down again. I'd be tempted to hit it on the outside and try to clip that red out of the back of the 4-foot as well, which I think is what they're playing. So you're trying to hit pretty much right, have this come straight down, hit it right where the broom is, hit the yellow on the outside, lose the shooter, the yellow's going in, and it just needs to clip that red on the way by and push it out of the 4-foot. There'll be nothing to freeze on.
You make this, there's simply nowhere else to hide here for Team Cameron. Gave up a couple big scores here, 2 in the first, 3 in the second. Steele's really caught up to them. They battled back with their deuce in the third, but you really cannot deny this Laws team and how well they've played.
Yeah, she moves that one out of the back forefoot. It's hard to see any way that Kate Cameron doesn't give up at least 2.
It's picked out successfully. That red rock does just move outside of the 4-foot rings.
And now it's hard to see any way that she's not giving up at least 3.
Is it hit and roll on there, and yeah, maybe come ever so askew, but yeah, even then it's not.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're dead buried, the run back is automatic. You may not be shot if you're dead buried either. It's hard to tell whether you could still grab a piece of the button.
This Kate Cameron team, bronze medalists at the Scotties last year, undefeated in this event so far. Went 4-0 against all Alberta teams, actually. Steeler, Richard, Skrillex, and Plett, all defeated in the round robin. Well, they certainly have met their match in another team out of Winnipeg. Final stone here for Kate Cameron. Wrap around these reds and hope that will be enough to keep this game going. Taylor McDonald, the inside sweeper.
Yeah, she was down right away, so she's got to be a little bit worried about the weight.
They did keep the weight going. They pushed it out a little bit as well. So it will be entirely exposed. It will be shot rock. It does give Kaitlyn Laws, who throws 4th on this team, the same hit in this game.
Same shot she just threw. She's not going to be really worried about holding the shooter either. So she's not going to be throwing this quiet.
You make this, you book a spot against the winner of the other quarterfinal on this side of the bracket. As mentioned, Eunji Kim versus Corinne Brown, and it looks like it will be the Korean side advancing. They're up 9-3. Be a rematch of the last round robin game we saw last night. Eunji Kim won 5-2 against Kaitlyn Laws. Final stone here in the 6th. This team looking for yet another big end in this quarterfinal. They've scored 2, they've scored 3. Easy does it, Broom down, and it looks like they will grab 4 for good measure as the shooter sticks around, and that is handshakes. Kaitlyn Laws advance. Sean, any final thoughts here before we part ways?
Well, you know, a dominant performance here by the Laws team, and really, I think the other part of the story is the Cameron team, that usually such a strong hitting team, early in this game we're hitting everything a little bit Broom side and just didn't have the precision that you normally expect to see from a team that hits this well. And the other thing is, we look at the score across the sheet. It's one of those games where you make the joke once in a while, hey, we should take some of these points in the other game. Well, if both teams get to take their points in the other game, they're going to start pretty close to even anyway.
Yeah, once you start moving them around.
Yep. It's not going to help you this time.
Team Laws quick to get off the ice here and rebound for their semifinal. As mentioned, 12:45 p.m. local time here in Edmonton. For myself, Sean Joyce, and our production there, Connor, did a great job with the cameras there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back later this afternoon from Edmonton.